All right, 4.8, the quadratic formula and the discriminant. The students will be able to solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. All right, here's the quadratic formula. All right, negative b plus or minus the square root of the quantity b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, so still using a, b's, and c's. So that means we must be in standard form. Okay. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Right? So remember we used standard form when we, earlier in chapter 4, and we used this in order to find the vertex, like the negative b over 2a. All right. So we're still using the same a's and b's and c's. All right. All right. First thing you do is you got to set the equation equal to 0 first. All right, so in this one, we have to subtract 10x because we want to get everything onto the same side. So we have x squared minus 10x minus 13 is equal to 0. Okay, now we notice that a is 1. All right. B is negative 10, and C is negative 13. All right, so now I'm going to use the quadratic formula. Okay. So we just plug in these values into that equation. All right, so first thing is the negative b. So if b is negative 10, I want negative b, so that's positive 10. Plus and minus the square root. All right, so b squared, so that, remember that's quantity negative 10 squared minus 4 times a. A is 1, and c is negative 13. All over 2a. 2 times a, so 2 times 1 is 2. Now we begin simplifying. Okay, let me look at. All right. Oops, sorry, folks. All right, so first thing we do, you always want to simplify inside the radical first. So everything on the outside we just leave alone at this time. All right, so inside, this becomes the square root of negative 10. So that's positive 100. This right here will always end up being positive, always. So if you get a negative here, then you're doing something wrong. Just drop the negative if you have to. It has to be positive. All right, so now we have negative 4 times 1 times negative 13. So negative times negative is a positive. 4 times 13, so let's see here, 13 times 4, so that's 12, 4, that's 52. I use my toes and fingers here. All right, now we can go ahead and add that. So we have 10 plus and minus the square root of 152 all over 2. All right, now we want to simplify that. So simplify the square root of 152. Let me get a calculator. All right, I got to use my toes. Hang on. Let me get my calculator. All right, so we want to do. All right, so we want to do square root of 152. So 152. Let's see, this divided by 4. 38. Equals, nope, let's see here. Okay, so it's 4. So this right here becomes, yep. All right, so 152, we can simplify that down to square root of 4 and square root of 38. So we know square root of 4 is 2. So we got 10 plus or minus 2 square root of 38 all over 2. All right, now that is simplified. So now we can go ahead and now work with everything else. Now if you look on the outside, the 10, the 2, and the 2, they're all divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide all of those by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Oops, let's try that again. 5 plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is 1, so just radical 38 all over 1. So in other words, our answer is 5 plus or minus square root of 8. So that is the radical. That is the quadratic formula. So let's look at another example. All right, so in this example, I want you to go ahead and list A, B, and C, and then do the quadratic formula. So hit pause, do the problem, and then hit play, and then you can check your work as I do it. All right, so the first thing here is let's identify A, B, and C. All right, so there's going to be a 1 there, so A is 1. All right, B is negative 4. And C is 1. Right, so it's already equal to 0, so we can go ahead and do that. All right, so let's plug into the formula. So it's negative B. So we got negative 4, so that's positive 4. All right, plus and minus. All right, here, we're messing up here. All right, so we got 4 plus and minus the square root of, so that's negative 4 squared minus 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is 1. All over 2 times A, 2 times 1 is 2. All right, now let's move on. So we simplified it in the radical. So that will give me, so let's see here, the 4 stays out. This, leave that alone. Inside the radical. Now negative 4 squared is positive 16. Remember, this first term has to end up being positive. 16 minus 4. We can simplify that. We got 4 plus and minus 16 minus 4 is radical 12 over 2. Now we're going to simplify the radical. That's what we done in the last previous section, 4.5. All right, so let's see, this is 4 plus and minus. So that's radical 4, radical 3, all over 2. Square root of 4 is 2. So we got 4 plus and minus 2 radical 3 all over 2. And then the last but not least, look at the outside. They're all divisible by 2, so that means I can simplify it more. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, plus and minus radical 3 all over 1. So this one can just leave it like that. All right, last example. Go ahead and try this one on your own. And once you're done, hit play, and then check your work as I do it. All right, so first thing here, you got to get equation set equal to 0. So you're going to subtract 35 from both sides first. So you got 3x squared plus 8x minus 35 is equal to 0. All right, so here's A. So A is 3. B and C. We plug it into the quadratic formula. So that becomes, well, negative B, so it becomes negative D plus minus B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2A, so 2 times 3 is 6. All right, so we keep what's on the outside. So that's 64. Plus, we got to do 4 times 3 times 35. So we got to do 4 times 3 times 35. That's 420. Now we simplify that. So we have negative 8 plus and minus the square root of 484 all over 6. So let's simplify the radical now. And we want to look for the largest perfect square. So let's take 484 divided by 16. Nope, let's do 484 divided by 36. Nope, let's do 484 divided by 4. Let's just do, the square root of 44. Let's see if that's a perfect square. Yes. Yes, it is, folks. And that. So the square root of 484 is actually 22. That was a perfect square. Over 6. Now, let's look at all 3. They're all divisible by 2, so let's divide them all by 2. That's negative 4 plus minus 11 over 3. Now, since there's no radicals, that means I can go ahead and get nice numbers. So I'm going to do negative 4 plus 11 divided by 3, and I'm going to do negative 4 minus 11 divided by 3. So here we go. Negative 4 plus 11 is 7 thirds. So there's one answer. That's negative 15 divided by 3 is a negative 5. So there's my 2 answers. All right.